Hey, I'm Pascal from Orangepixel and welcome to the last video of this year. It's gonna be a short video because nobody has time to watch a video, and yes, there's a light on my head. A few weeks ago I mentioned that my wife buys weirdly funny and sometimes useful stuff. This is her latest purchase for me. Thanks, hun. Anyway, after the intro we're gonna talk about the numbers for this year. I'm gonna talk you through the revenue made for Orangepixel and how it's split up in different platforms and games and things like that. So it's gonna be a short video, like I said, so let's just intro. Okay, quick context for all the new viewers coming in. This is the little chart, we're gonna talk about that in a minute. I'm Pascal, I'm Orangepixel. Since 2004 I've been creating independent game development games. That's a weird sentence, but let's do that again. I've been creating independent games since 2004. What independent means, and don't go into all the dreamy indie type thing. Independent pretty much means I create games, I fund those games on my own. Nobody tells me what I can or cannot create. I create the games I want to create and I sell them. You can go with publishers, you can go with financing and all that stuff, but you are the person designing, developing and creating and whatever you want, and nobody's giving you orders. That's pretty much being an independent game developer. This is my office, this is my workspace, this is where I do my stuff, and I've been doing it for almost 20 years now. Anyway, how did this year go? Little context, I do this every year, so I'm gonna do a very short context. I try to make between 50 and 60,000 euros a year. In some countries that's not enough, in other countries that's way too much. Why is there a limit on both ends? Well, the 50 is the minimum I really need to have a comfortable life here in the Netherlands, Europe. 60 is more than enough. Everything above that pretty much means I probably work too much or too hard and I have to pay more taxes over all that money. So why actually do it? I don't need it. So I can just, I rather relax a little bit more during a year than work harder to make more money. That doesn't make sense to everybody, but if it makes sense to you, then independent game development might be your thing. Call this number. All right, let's talk about the numbers. Okay, so first thing to mention for this little pie chart over here, I have not released a new game this year. Last new game I released was Residual back in September 21, so last year. But a lot of that revenue from that game is in this pie chart spread over, well, PC, consoles and mobile. I think Residual did about 25% of my revenue this year, so that's a decent portion. So if I haven't released a new game and Residual did 25% of this, then where did the other 75% come from? Good question, you in the back. Pretty much my old games or my existing catalog of games, both doing discounts and sales on those, on all the platforms that they are launched on, but also launching those games on new platforms. Like this year on the Atari, I released a bunch of games, but we also have new games on the Switch. So not all my games are on these consoles yet, so that will continue next year. And this is the result pretty much. So I reached the minimum amount I wanted and we are touching about the 60,000. I can pretty much safely say that. So yeah, this is the spread of how these things have been doing. So mobile pretty much means all the iOS and Android versions. The Android versions on Google Play Store, but also on third-party stores and distributors and things like that. So it has been released on more than just the Google Play Store, because Google Play Store is great. First stop for many, and I can do a lot of discounts there, but I make a lot of money from third-party distribution networks. So that's mobile, and I have been mentioning this on the channel for a while. I want to move more towards PC and console, but this is still a pretty big portion of my yearly income. It's shrinking. Every year it's gonna be a little bit smaller, and this is luckily getting bigger. But yeah, it's still too important to completely drop it like it's hot. And as you can see, PC and console combined are now making up almost the same amount as mobile. And that's why I keep telling everybody, try to release your game on every platform possible, because all those markets combined make up your revenue and your income. and just doing it on one platform and ignoring the others is, you're leaving so much money on the table or on the digital space somewhere. So what PC means is Steam and itch.io, but mostly Steam. You can sell your PC games on a lot of markets. There's Humble Store, there's GOG, there is Epic Games if you can get on it. There's of course itch.io, but all those things combined are still far less than revenue made on Steam. It's just, we should just all face it that the PC game market is dominated by Steam, and it's not going to change in any short amount of time. People have a Steam library, that's where they have all their best games, their greatest games, and that's where they want to play games. And if you do not have your game on Steam, it's just there's just a big chance that people will not play it, see it, or hear about it. So Steam. Most of the Steam revenue is actually sales, discounts. You have to schedule those, just a lot of them every year. People just are used to buying games at a discount, and that's okay. I do it myself as well. I don't buy the latest PlayStation games at full price. I wait for a very good deal. So I get it, and that's also probably the reason why, as a developer, you should never or rarely go for a very cheap, low price on your game, because discounts will not be interesting to players. So just go for a good price on the initial release, and then discount it over the years and months and whatever, to hopefully get some extra revenue. Consoles is mostly the Switch. Still haven't released on Xbox and PlayStation. We are working on it, and hopefully next year we'll actually get some games on there, but for now this is mostly Switch. I did include Atari there as its console, but the revenue on Atari has been great, especially for just such a small audience, but most of this is coming from the Switch. And of course I have to split this into two, because the console versions are done by my buddy Serious Lion, who takes my Java written games and ports them to mono game, and then we release them on consoles pretty much. So this is mostly again discounts, but also we had two releases. We released Heroes of Loot earlier this year on the Switch and Groundskeeper 2, and right now I pushed Snake Core to Nintendo for lot checking, and if they approve, it will be the first game we launch in 2023 on the Switch. So more games are still coming, and that's pretty much this. And that leaves us with other income or other revenue. That's just random stuff. My YouTube channel, ad revenue. It's not a lot. I mean, I think I'm making about anywhere between $25 and $35 a month on my YouTube videos, which is enough to buy music or music license, so I can actually put music behind my talking in these videos. That's not gonna kill my channel. And then a little bit extra, so that's the other. Other is also, I think I added the iArcade into this. Let me show you the iArcade. For those who don't know, this is the iArcade. It's pretty much an Android based arcade cabinet, so we could also put this revenue into mobile revenue, because it's the Android version, but I put it in other income revenue sources. And that pretty much sums up this pie chart and how I made my money this year. A lot of discounts and sales, and I can keep doing that, but I really have to release my new game or get some funding for it, as I've been mentioning in the last couple of videos. Make sure to subscribe to the channel to follow all that. So that's going to be a key thing to do in the coming year, or in the next month actually. Finding revenue for Regulated City, or funding for Regulated City, so that there's revenue coming in and we can start releasing new games. There's of course also a prototype in the make, and I have another little project here and there. So there's a lot of stuff coming, but nothing's done yet, and that's slightly worrying, but that's part of business, and we'll figure it out. It will all sort itself out. And that brings me to one addition this year. I haven't done this in previous years, not sure why. What are my costs in a year? Actual business expenses and business costs, 5,000 euros for a whole year. That's very low amount. Of course, I don't need a lot. I need a computer and just sit here, and that's pretty much all my expenses. I don't have expensive business trips and things like that. You could do that. You could go to game developer conferences and things like that, and that will cost you, of course. I don't really do those things. I don't have time for them. I don't want to do those things. I would go crazy on events like that. It's just not for me. But what kind of costs do I have? I made a list because I don't keep track of all these things. Artwork. I do all my own game graphics, but I usually want high-res artwork or good material to use for press and marketing and store pages. So I pay people to create artwork. I have music costs. I can't do music, so I always need a musician to create music for my games. Of course, I only had Regulated City in the works this year. So that's the only music that I needed. Also the only artwork, so not a lot needed this year. Standard costs, my website, orangepixel.net, and all the domain names. I have Gunslugs, Heroes of Loot, Space Grunts, Regulated City, all.com. I have those domains. I don't really do anything with them, but I wanted to make sure they are safe and are mine, and I can do things with it in the future. So I have my website and domain names. And besides that, there's of course services, my phone bill or phone costs, which is very low because I don't like calling people on the phone, especially not for business stuff. I rather do it through email or these days through Discord and things like that. Bank costs, which is frustrating and infuriating, as just opening a bank account, you have to pay for that. It's stupidity at its max, it's humanity at its worst. People want to make money, I understand, but a bank gets all my money and I have to pay them for it. If people transfer money, or if I have a lot of transfer, if I just transfer money or receive money, that costs. It might just be like 2 cents or whatever, but it costs money to transfer stuff, and it's all done digitally, so it's frustrating the crap out of me. But things like this cost you money as a business owner. Besides that, insurance. I have an insurance for when something happens to whatever. Something that allows me or disallows me, or anyway, something that happens and causing me not to be able to work, even if it's typing or whatever. Because I have a simple job and an easy job, that insurance is pretty cheap in the Netherlands. But if something happens and like I chop off a hand and can't work, I pretty much make or get all the money I need to make a year. So the first 1 or 2 years after that, I'll be fine, revalidating, and I'll have to figure out how to do it, go on from there, or first couple of years. But I have an insurance for that. I'm very much against insurances. I can go on about that as well for a lot of reasons. But it's a safety little thing. It makes me go to bed a lot easier. Just a very little. Anyway, and to manage all that incoming and outgoing money, I also have to pay my accountant a couple of times a year. You don't need an accountant. You can do a lot of stuff yourself, but they know a lot of rules and little things that you can't keep track with or track off, and just little things that often save you money and make sure you get more return. So yeah, it's a costly thing, but that's also deductible. It's all part of running a business. And don't be scared about all those things if you are planning on starting a business, because you'll get into it automatically. Before you know it, you'll be paying everybody a lot of money without knowing it. Yeah, it's just part of doing business. And I know everybody has that indie developer dream and just creating games that you want and then release them and that's it. There's just a lot of stuff coming at you from all sides. It's pretty much you're running a business, and this is just all the costs involved with the company and doing business and being allowed to sit here every day in my office next to the bedroom and then just enjoy my day. And of course there's a lot of extra costs, as we also have to pay the bills for the house and all the food and all clothing and just everything that comes with life. And for that I need to make enough money with games and YouTube eventually, maybe if I get more subscribers. So thanks for subscribing, press that button and watch my videos. That's it for this video. yeah, that's it. I don't have more to talk about. And next week we'll just be starting the new year with a new video. I'll talk about Regulate City, what I'm working on, but also a couple of the plans I have for the coming year. I think, I'm not sure yet. We're gonna start slow on the next year and move from there. So thanks for watching. Have a good end of the year and don't blow off any limbs or stuff with fireworks. And see you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.